Bill Gates and wife Melinda announced on May 3, 2021, that they were divorcing after 27 years of marriage. TMZ reported that the longtime loves didn't have a prenuptial agreement, so Bill Gates' net worth may take a hit post-split. In fact, the impending divorce is already being compared to Jeff and Mackenzie Bezos' 2019 divorce. In any case, it's safe to say that the exes will be beyond financially secure. Gates puts the bill in billionaire and has for decades. Here's exactly how much the Microsoft founder and philanthropist is worth, how he amassed his massive wealth, and all the fun, enviable ways he spends it. How much is Bill Gates' net worth? As of May 3, 2021, Gates' net worth is estimated to be $130 billion, though other estimates have it as high as $150 billion when combined with Melinda's fortune. Is Bill Gates the richest man in the world? Bezos is actually the richest man on the planet. How did Bill Gates make his money? Gates co-founded Microsoft with his childhood best friend, Paul Allen, in 1975, and since its inception has served as CEO, chairman and chief software architect of the company. Their MS-DOS platform became the operating system for IBM computers in 1980. When Microsoft went public, Gates' shares alone were worth $350 million, making him one of the wealthiest men in America. The release of Microsoft Office in 1990 only further grew Gates' big bucks, and when Windows 95 launched in 1995, Gates was, for a time, the richest man on earth. His fortune hit the $100 billion mark in 1999. Bill Gates had to step down as Microsoft's CEO. In 2000, Gates resigned as the CEO of Microsoft following an antitrust lawsuit from the Department of Justice, which ruled that the company broke laws prohibiting monopolization. Microsoft share prices dropped 14% at the time. Gates stayed on staff as a chairman. The company bounced back and surpassed $100 billion in sales in 2018. Bill Gates sold most of his Microsoft shares. Contrary to popular belief, Gates actually doesn't own much of Microsoft anymore. He owns just 1.34 shares. Bill Gates has a ton of investments. Despite not having many shares of Microsoft, Gates has a ton of shares in other companies through his Cascade Investments group. According to Investopedia, these include Berkshire Hathaway, Coca-Cola, AutoNation, Deere Company, Four Seasons Hotels in Houston, Atlanta and Mexico, Strategic Hotels and Resorts and the Canadian National Railway. Gates also has shares in advertising company Branded Entertainment Network and has invested in ResearchGate, a social network for scientists and, you guessed it, researchers. Gates also serves as chair of nuclear reactor design company TerraPower. Bill Gates has major real estate, including his own island. Gates dubbed his most famous home Xanadu 2.0 near Seattle. The 11,500 square foot mansion has a 17 x 60 foot pool, a 2,500 square foot home gym, complete with men's and women's locker rooms, a trampoline room, a theater, a library, complete with secret entrances in the bookcases, one of which leads to a bar, 6 kitchens, 18.75 bathrooms, a reception hall, sports courts, putting green, outdoor spa, guest house, a conference room and an elevator, to name just a few of the amenities. In 2013, Gates purchased a home in Wellington, West Palm Beach, Fla, for $8.7 million. The property reportedly has barn space for 20 horses, as well as jumping grounds for equestrian sports and training. 3 years later, he purchased more property on the same street for $13.5 million, owning 5 of 6 properties on the block, then another $21 million on yet another horse farm in the area. Gates' daughter, Jennifer, is an equestrian. Gates also owns a private island in Belize called Grand Bogue Cay. Bill Gates has a nearly priceless art collection. Gates owns some serious art. In 1994, he purchased the Codex Leicester, one of Leonardo da Vinci's notebooks, at an auction for $30.8 million. He said of the purchase, "I feel very lucky that I own a notebook. In fact, I remember going home one night and telling my wife Melinda that I was going to buy a notebook. She didn't think that was a very big deal. I said, no, this is a pretty special notebook. This is the Codex Leicester, one of the notebooks of Leonardo da Vinci." He added, "I personally have always been amazed by him because he personally worked out science on his own, and he understood things that no other scientist of that time did. And his work is amazing." He would work by drawing things and writing down his ideas. So he built these notebooks about how light worked, how water worked, how weapons would work. Of course, he designed all sorts of flying machines, like helicopters, way before you could actually build something like that. So every one of these notebooks are amazing documents. They're kind of his rough draft notes of texts that he eventually wanted to put together. Gates also owns works by Andrew Wyeth, William Merritt Chase, George Bello, Winslow Homer and Frederick Child Hassam. His collection is worth over $100 million. Parade Daily. Celebrity interviews, recipes and health tips delivered to your inbox. Bill Gates gets around in style. Gates is a member of NetJets, a private jet company, and is speculated to own at least one private jet of his own. On the ground, Gates is a fan of Porsche's whips. He purchased his first, a Porsche 911 in 1979, later selling it at auction for $80,000. He has since purchased a Porsche 930, a Porsche 964, and a Porsche 959, as well as an electric Porsche Taycan, a Ferrari 348, and a Jaguar XJ6. For his day-to-day travels, however, Gates has said he drives himself around in a normal Mercedes, the 1%, or a minivan. Bill Gates' fortune is largely dedicated to philanthropy. Gates and pal Warren Buffett created the Giving Pledge, which urges billionaires to spend the majority of their wealth on philanthropy. He and Melinda formed their eponymous Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which has spent more than $40 billion fighting global poverty and diseases like malaria and polio around the world. He wrote in an annual letter in 2018, "If we think it's unfair that we have so much wealth, why don't we give it all to the government?" The answer is that we think there's always going to be a unique role for foundations. They're able to take a global view to find the greatest needs, take a long-term approach to solving problems, and manage high-risk projects that governments can't take on and corporations won't. If a government tries an idea that fails, someone wasn't doing their job. Whereas if we don't try some ideas that fail, we're not doing our jobs. Bill Gates' kids won't inherit much of his wealth. Gates revealed that each of his 3 children will inherit just $10 million each. That's roughly 1% of the computing pioneer's fortune.